Chapter 15, Lesson 1. Rural roads account for 80% of all roads in the United States, 40% of all vehicle miles traveled, and 61% of our nation's traffic failures. Describe rural roadways. Rural roadways. Rural roads can be paved or have a gravel surface. The shoulders can be wide or narrow. Road surfaces may be smooth or in very poor condition. Lack of adequate lighting can make visibility difficult at night. Trees and other foliage can also restrict one's line of sight on sunny days or during evenings, casting deceptive shadows. Objective. Describe factors to consider when selecting safe speed. Safe speed. Speed affects your line of sight, stopping distance, and vehicle controls, and the amount of damage and injury suffered in the event of a collision. There is a difference between safe speed and posted speed. Posted speeds are the maximum legal speeds allowed under ideal condition. When conditions are not ideal, a slower speed is safer. Never drive faster than conditions allow. Driveways, side roads, and entrances to fields may be difficult to identify. Do you see the vehicles waiting to pull out into the street, into the road? Objective. Identify traffic control and how they help inform, warn, and regulate drivers on rural roads. Traffic controls. Traffic controls are signs, signals, and lane markers. They direct, regulate, inform, and warn drivers. Most warning signs are graphic or pictures. Paying attention to warning signs will help you reduce your speed well in advance. Why do you think the warning signs is places where it is? Traffic controls can be complex, especially at intersections where rural highways cross. List roadside hazards common in rural driving. Roadside hazards. Rural roads may be narrow and not well maintained. Shoulders may be soft and uneven with the edge of the roadway. Deep ditches may present just inches from the shoulder. Trees, shrub, and snow piles created by plows can restrict line of sight. Be alert for drivers who could turn into your path of travel without warning. What factors should you use to help select a safe speed when driving in rural roads? Why is it important for drivers to be aware of common rural roadside hazards? 15, Lesson 2. Using basic skills in rural areas. Wherever you drive, you will encounter risk. By properly applying the IPTA process and zone control driving techniques, you empower yourself to better manage the level of risk. Objective. Explain how the IPTA and the zone control should be applied in rural driving. Applying IPTA and zone controls. Rural driving typically involves driving at higher speeds. At higher speeds, you increase the risk of losing control in situations that demand quick responses. To best apply IPTA and zone controls, you must control your speed. 1 or 2 additional seconds can make a difference between the ability to successfully apply the process and manage space. At higher speeds, it takes longer to stop, and execute braking or steering can result in skids and loss of control. Drive at a speed at which you know you will be able to brake and steer your vehicle without losing control. Assess road conditions and adjust your speed accordingly. Can you identify points of conflict in this situation? Objective. Explain the appropriate steps to use to safely handle curves, hills, and intersections. Search pattern. You should apply the orderly visual search pattern technique in rural areas where your 12 to 15 second visual lead covers more area because of higher speed. In open areas, extend your visual lead. The greater your visual lead, the more time you will have to identify and safely respond to hazards and unexpected situations. You should reach 12 to 15 seconds ahead in the situation. What forewarning signs can you identify? Curves, hills, and intersections. Knowing the characteristics of curves, hills, and intersections beforehand can help you handle them safely when driving. Curves. Difficulty in handling a curve is typically the result of having too much speed on the approaching curve. Before approaching a curve, you likely will notice a yellow warning sign that warns of the potential hazard ahead. A warning sign for a curve is yellow with a black arrow showing the direction of the curve. The sharper the curve of the arrow, the sharper the actual curve ahead. Curves warning signals often have smaller yellow rectangular advisory speed signs just below the main sign. Advisory speed signs suggest maximum travel speed under ideal conditions for the curve. Remember that natural forces work to push your vehicle to the outside of the curve. At higher speeds, these forces are even greater. You are approaching this curve. What are the 9 steps you should do to safely handle the curve? Hills. Hills restrict your line of sight. As you approach the crest of a hill, slow down and use your lane position 1. At night, look at the crest of the hill for light, since this is an indicator of approaching vehicles. Intersections. Some rural intersections have traffic lights. Others just have stop signs. Identifying intersections will help you anticipate problems and give you extra time to deal with them. Most rural intersections have a side road intersection, a main road. The side road usually has the stop sign. Often, tall grass, trees, or bushes create line of sight restriction. Driveways may be very difficult to identify, especially at night. To identify signs of driveways, look for loose gravel spilling into the main road, refraction, and mailboxes at the edge of immediately across from the driveway. You are driving behind this car and closing in. Will you pass or not? Explain your decision. Objective. Identify rural situations that require greater following distance. Since speeds are often greater on rural roads, always maintain a safe following distance of 3 or more seconds. When conditions are less than ideal, increase your following distance. Maintaining a following distance of more than 3 seconds gives you a better view of traffic and conditions ahead. Use greater following distance when being tailgated, drivers on a steep downhill slope, or following a motorcycle. Is this truck driver using a good following distance while driving at 45 miles per hour? Objective. Describe characteristics of multi-lane rural highways and explain how to safely enter them. Driving on multi-lane roads. Some rural roads may have intersections instead of exits and entrance ramps. Multi-lane roadways with center lanes. Many multi-lane rural roads have a yellow line, dashed or solid, separating high-speed traffic. You should never cross over a solid yellow line except to make a left turn or clear an obstacle blocking your lane. Divided roadways. All divided roads have traffic moving in opposite directions, separated in some way. A medium is an area of ground or a concrete separating traffic moving in opposite directions. A medium can be from a few inches wide to several feet. When you have to cross a multi-lane road, cross each half as if you were crossing a one-way street. If a large enough medium crossover area exists, move into it. If you need to turn left after stopping, remember you'll be entering the fastest lane of traffic moving in the direction you want to go. You will need to look for a large enough gap to enter the left lane safely. Look for at least 6 to 8 second gap. Lane selection. Always try to drive in the right-handed lane. The left lane is usually for passing or for preparing for a left turn. In some states, it is legal to drive in the left lane unless you pass. Turning at intersections. When leaving a multi-lane roadway, turn right from the right lane. When making a left turn, turn from the left lane nearest the center lane or meridian strip. Some multi-lane roads have special turn lanes. When preparing to turn, check your rearview mirror. Signal your intention to turn at least 5 seconds ahead. Signaling early gives vehicles behind you a chance to adjust their speed and position to maximize conflict. Do you think it is a good idea to wait with your wheels straight until you start your left turn? If you see a vehicle approaching you from behind, you believe it may be able to stop in time, do not make your turn. Instead, accelerate quickly and go straight ahead if the condition of the intersection allows you to. If you are hit from behind, it is better to be moving in the same direction as the vehicle striking you. Entering a multi-lane road. Check all traffic before entering a multi-lane road. If turning right into multi-lanes, enter the nearest right lane as you turn. Look and steer towards the target. Accelerate so that you're at the same speed as other drivers. If turning left into a multi-lane road, cross the lanes on your side of the roadway. Choose a time when no traffic is approaching from the right in the far left lane of the road you will be turning into. Then turn into the nearest lane. Accelerate so that you're at the same speed as traffic. Entering a multi-lane road from a driveway is similar to entering from a side road. Oncoming drivers may not see you because of line of sight restrictions. Why are the IPTA process and zone controls important when driving on rural roads? List the steps you should take in driving into curves or intersections.